Welcome to a new episode of dreamOnkennels. In today's episode, I got a story to tell. So it's been a few months since we recorded our last video, and today I'm gonna update you on the puppy statuses and tell a story about what happened with Whitney and the opportunity for international sale. I wake up one morning and I check my email, and lo and behold, we got business, we got action. Somebody is wanting Whitney. Beautiful dog, beautiful, beautiful. This guy's kind of mesmerized, and you can tell by the tone of his messages, he's gonna kind of want to do any and everything he could possibly do to get this dog. I've never done an international sale, so I'm like, man, this would be an opportunity for the kennel to go nationwide, spread our brand across the waters, and just, take a big step as a businessman in the kennel. But did I know that the process of an international sale was so exhausting and tough? All right, so talk to this guy. He's like, I love Whitney. I want to do an international sale. I want to get her. I'll put down a deposit, blah, blah, blah. And scams have been up a lot this year. Another video coming about that. So initially I'm thinking, man, somebody in Trinidad wants to buy a puppy from the United States. Has to be a scam, right? Not necessarily, but I got my antennas up, seeing if it's a scam, asking the right questions. Everything feels right, but everything don't feel right, if you can understand where I'm coming from. And so we keep on going through things. We're emailing each other back and forth over and over and over. And then he sends me this long laundry list of things to do, and that had to be accomplished before we could send Whitney off to Trinidad. Cool. But I should have known by how long the laundry list of things to do was that this may not be possible. Me being a persistent, driven person, I'm like, I accept the challenge. If it can be done, it can be done. And I know of other kennels that, have the opportunity to either have dogs exported or imported. So with that knowledge, I'm like, man, how hard can it really be? Let's just take this first step to build some knowledge on how to get this done to help me out later on down the line, because this won't be the last international sale that we'll have from our kennel. So talk about a couple of things that have to be done. In Trinidad, they don't have rabies. So they are very, very distinct about qualifications to allow domestic animals to come into their country. Not having rabies, they don't want rabies. So you have to have all this testing done. And according to the testing, there are only certain areas in the United States that they will accept testing from. And most of those are just out of state. All right, so first thing, we got to get a deposit put down. That'll let me know for sure that it's not a scam and that you're serious. And, it'll keep Whitney from being purchased from anybody else. So, even the process of doing an international transaction as far as money takes a couple of days, and there's some steps to it. So I got to give out my bank information. I got to do this, I got to do that. But we get that all taken care of, and the guy sends a deposit as, locking her down, and we're going to make this happen, okay? So the deposit gets here. Now it's time to get rocking and rolling. We're knocking these steps out. I'm thinking the next step should be to go get her microchip, blah, 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 blah. No. The next step is actually trying to find her an airline that will ship her over to Trinidad. And so, man, I checked at least 20 different locations, nannies that fly dogs. I'm looking at all the airlines, reading all the descriptions on cargo, pets, and I mean, this is taking forever and a day. And not only am I doing all this here in the United States, my man Douglas is in Trinidad giving me information as well. We get to going through everything, and we're finding out that for some reason, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, Southwest, all the places that he thought would ship puppies internationally, turning out that they don't do it anymore, for whatever reason. So we had to find all these different angles on who does what. Check one off. That one doesn't work, try to add another one. And so every time I would check one off, they'd be like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. But Douglas is just as persistent and determined as I am. And so he's sending stuff back. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. And a lot of the information, I don't think the guy was just reading over thoroughly. I think he was just putting stuff in a Google search engine and it says you need to do this. And he's just sending me on a bunch of ghost trips with the information that he was sending me. Because a lot of these different additions to the equation of what to do turned out to be dead ends. So in the midst of trying to find a flight, we also had to make sure we got her blood tested. Even though she has her rabies shot, she's been fully vaccinated. She had to have a proof from a university, Kansas State University, from a test that she has no rabies, okay? So with that, here comes another mission. We have to get a vet that actually does the blood test, draws a sample. That sample has to be sent off to University of Kansas State. And then Kansas State University sends those results to the government of Trinidad. And then from there, they'll have it documented. And when she comes in on the flight, they'll be able to check her off as being an animal that's safe to come into their country. Whew. Was this, dang fly, this was also an exhausting task. And so aside from trying to still research about the flights, now we're researching about what vets will do the test. Well, I'm thinking that every vet does this test. And once again, this is my first time going through all of this, you know? And so I'm thinking it's gonna be easy breezy. Oh, I have a vet already that I send the dogs to, get the blood test done, send to K-State. No, not that easy. Turns out that there are a selected few vets that actually do the testing that we're looking for, will actually draw the blood. And because there are so many discrepancies and little integral things that have to be done, a lot of vets don't want to have to do all that because it's, you know, it's a lot of tasks that go involved. And if it's not done exactly right, the test won't count. And so through my research, going to different vets in person, calling different vets, now I'm starting to be able to put the information together that everybody doesn't do this. So you have to be at certain locations to be able to get this done. So my vet doesn't do that. So I go around town, get information, finding this. So I finally found a few veterinarians that do the drawing of the blood and will send it off to Kansas State University. So I'm like, yes, we found a solution. We're making leeway. It's always something else. So we get a vet and start asking questions about what the charges are, trying to get the money together so we can get the budget for how much all this is going to cost to make sure Douglas doesn't go over his budget. And so it comes to find out that it's almost close to $500 for this whole process to take place. So I get the information back to Douglas and he's like, man, that's expensive. Last time I did this 20 years ago, it didn't cost this much. I guess he had another guy that he was counseling with on how to do this. And he's telling him, oh man, that's too high. It's around $200 for that same test to be done, sent off. Douglas doesn't want to spend $450, $500 on this vet. So I can understand that. So here we go again, going to go search more vets, more vets, more vets. I'm persistent, I'm determined. We're gonna get her to Trinidad, right? I hit another vet, get the information. They say, yeah, we'll do it. Cool. This time I don't get my hopes up thinking that we, you know, accomplished something because I know the big question has to come. How much? She says $491. So for me, it's telling me maybe this is around the standard price. The other vet wasn't off, you know. Maybe this is just, you know, how much it costs nowadays. But of course, $491 was too expensive. So Doug, he is recommending me to another vet that's 3 hours away from my location where I live. First, before making a trip, I called this vet. I asked the vet about, you know, doing a blood test and everything. And this particular vet says, is the animal deceased? What? No, the animal is not deceased. And she says, well, the only time we do blood tests is if the animal is deceased. And I'm like, oh man, well, I was told that you guys, you know, do blood samples and you send it off. And it turns out this is another ghost mission. They don't even send blood results to Kansas State. They send their results to Texas A&M, blah, 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 blah. So at this point, in one day, I've been working 8 hours just on transporting Whitney to Trinidad. With all of that being said, we don't use the vet in Woodward because they don't do the actual blood test sample. And it turns out that the guy that Doug was talking to, that I believe is in Miami, he was inaccurate. They sent receipts and everything showing that this vet does it, but it turns out that this vet stopped doing that process over a year ago. So we're back to square one. At this point, my intuition is starting to kick in. We've been having a lot of roadblocks, and I want to just say, man, it's time to move on from this situation. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm going to say, maybe because I gave him my word that I get this done, I'll send his deposit back and we could just move on with this show. But this guy's persistent. So we're talking on we're talking on WhatsApp. I'm sending him videos of Whitney going to the PetSmart to look at crates because she has to have a carrying crate to go onto the flights and everything. Since we didn't quit, we ended up finding someone that can actually transport her from Oklahoma to Miami, and then from Miami to actually getting to Trinidad. So we got the price for that. Now we have to figure out which vet we want to go with. I'm continuing to look at vets, and Doug is sending more and more information. And the last vet that I ended up speaking with, they were talking about other things that have come up in the process that we were unaware of that's going to incur more expenses, right? So not only does she have to have a blood test done, I have to enroll in a class here in Oklahoma, and I have to take this class in order for her to be able to get her health certificate, right? That's extra money. And then come to find out that Doug has found more information that he has to get. So this guy sends me this long spreadsheet of all the money that he's going to have to spend. Money for the testing, get her transported over there, for the class that I have to take for a health certificate. He's starting to see that he's starting to go over his budget. Still, with that, he's looking for different options that we can use and still get her over there. So we're staying up late nights. I'm feeling like this situation is over with, but I gave my word, so I got to keep on pushing through, even though it's looking like it's dead end after dead end, right? About 2 weeks go by of investigating. Doug finally sends a text, not a text, he actually sends an email, and he's like, dude, I'm not going to be able to do this. I just found out that I'm going to have to spend an extra $2,000 for another test and another part of getting her here. So he would have been over budget by $3,000, right? So it's like, we don't get the sale. Why did I get all this information? Why was I put through all of this? How does it end like this? It just doesn't seem like this experience was worth it, right? Right. To make the matters even worse, yeah, y'all, it gets worse. Whitney had 3 inquiries on her. And because I'm loyal to the person that put their deposit first, I didn't sell Whitney to a person that is here in the city area within 15 miles away from where I live. It hurt so bad that I could have had her sold and given to someone else right here in the city. I didn't know how to really feel about it, but just down and out and frustrated. After I lick my wounds, I stick my chest out, put my chin up and say, hey, I'm gonna reach back out to these people that inquired about her because it's only been a week and see if they're still interested in a beautiful, flashy brindle boxer named Whitney. So I get on the AKC website, I go back to my emails, I go back to my texts, and I reach out to every single person that inquired about her in the last 2 weeks while I was dealing with Doug. And it turns out that everybody purchased a boxer in that time frame. I was hurt, y'all. I was hurt, y'all. And I think I'm still hurt. But life goes on, right? So that's where we find ourselves today. Whitney is still here at the kennel. We're looking at getting her sold as well as Raven because we have another litter video coming out soon, about Bluebell coming in heat for her second litter. We got to get these puppies that are here now to a good home, back to work on the internet, marketing, posting them, updated pictures and things of that nature. And we're sitting here with fingers crossed, hoping that eventually we'll get these 2 puppies sold in time for this next litter. In the meantime, man, I'm still trying to figure out what this whole entire situation was meant for. And why did I go through this ghost chase for 2 weeks? And why did the Lord allow me to pass up on money? I had money right here in the States and I passed up on it. Why did I pass up on money, y'all? So in the comments, like, subscribe to this video, but in the comments, if you could tell me why you think I had to go through all this. Was it worth it? Even though I didn't get a sale, even though I missed out on sales, will I recover from this? Will I be rewarded for doing the honest thing? And because somebody put their deposit down, I kept my word and didn't sell her. Will I be rewarded tenfold later on? Tell me what you guys think about this situation, because I still don't know. Maybe your comments will help me figure this out. So with that being said, that's my story. My story that I had to tell. My story that I've been waiting to tell y'all for about a week. My story that I've been having to get over and now get on camera and tell the world that we came up short. And then we're gonna figure out what's next. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for sitting tight over this whole story that I've given you guys. We got more videos to come. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.